What is going on, everyone? My name's Dave with 15 for Coffee, Business English for International Superstars. If you are a non-native English speaker using English for your job, for your career, to sell your business, whatever you are using English for because you have a vision and you want to see better results, this is for you. And today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about something that's really important called Ikigai. This is a Japanese concept which means fruit of life or reason for being, as well as another interpretation for it. This is really important because a lot of you are doing a job. Maybe you love your job. Maybe it's just a job. But either way, if you want to be more influential in your interviews, in your presentations, in your interactions with other colleagues, maybe your bosses, maybe clients, you're going to want to really understand who you are and what is passionate for you. And if you aren't doing what you love, this is going to help you find what that is and find a way to do something that means something to you and where you can make money as well. So you can also use this in the value proposition, which I will talk about all the time. That's video number 2 on the YouTube channel. Check that out if you haven't seen that, where that's like Superpower right there, where you have a value proposition that helps you communicate clearly with your audience and also gives yourself a lot of confidence because you can articulate in another language of English what you do, how you're valuable, and why you make a difference in the world, right? So we're talking about Ikigai. So we're going to talk about what this is, why this is important, and how you can use this in your interactions when you speak English. So it is a little different, guys. We go into these roadmaps and things like that. We're going to go into Ikigai. So let's get started. Ikigai comes up with 4 parts. It's what you love, what the world needs, what you can get paid for, and your talent. So each section is going to have different answers. You might have multiple answers here or here or here or here. You could have multiple answers. What the goal is to write down a list. What are your talents? What are some jobs that you could do? What does the world need? What do you think the world needs right now? Let's think big. What does the world need? What do people around me need? What does the world itself need? What does something in the world need? Is it spirituality? Is it a new product? Is it a new service? Is it something that makes people's lives easier? Or does it help people connect? Does it help people tear down barriers? What is it that the world needs? And what do you love? What do you love to do? What gets you excited? What makes you passionate about things? What do you love? What are those things that you love? Do you love art? Do you love music? List those all out. What we're going to do is put all these together, each list, and we're going to try to find a common theme in here so that we can figure out what is a great job for us to have. This is really about a job. I mean, I'm sure, if you are Japanese or you understand more of the culture, please comment. I would love to hear more truth around this. Obviously, I love the idea. So let us learn more about Ikigai from the experts. Please comment below. And also, if you like the videos here, be sure to subscribe because next week we're going to get into handling objections, and that's going to be really important too. So subscribe, hit the alert bell, and get the objections video next week. If you haven't seen the value prop, that's video 2. That's a good one to watch because this right here is going to help you tell your story. So again, if you have more information on Ikigai, on whether it's your job specifically, I think it is your job because it says it's like the fruit of your labor or the fruit of life, which fruit is like a production. That's just my logic. That's just what I think. So anyway, now the interesting about Ikigai is that I just learned about this, I think this year, like a couple months ago. But I actually found my Ikigai a couple years ago. And that's the story I want to tell. I want to talk to you about how I found my Ikigai. And so you can use this as an example or a template to figure out what yours could be, okay? So I'm going to tell you a story. Let's go over here to my storyboard. And I also use this in my value proposition, okay, guys? This also goes into the value proposition. So, Ikigai. Here's my story about Ikigai. I didn't even know what it was, and now I do. And now it's changed really. It's really helped me with coaching and teaching my students because once we go through Ikigai, my students if they don't know their dream job, now they do. Now they understand the dream job. Excuse me. And if they already have their dream job, it just solidifies it more and it gets them more excited, and it brings more clarity to their role and brings more clarity to what they do. So if you're familiar, this is near the downtown, or El Centro de Madrid in Spain. And this is where I was, and I was visiting my friend Pablo, who was an exchange student with me in Omaha, Nebraska. He's from Madrid, and somehow he ended up in Nebraska. Okay. And that's us. This was, I think, last year, maybe 2 years ago. It was cold. This is Juanito. I think this was also last year or 2 years ago. And this is all three of us a while ago. This was probably like 2019. So I was out there visiting them, and also I am a bachata dancer, so I was out dancing a lot and going to these events, and just a really amazing. I love Spain. I love Spain. Here's Host Club. This is near the downtown, near the palace. This is Yoke. It's this awesome club outside of the city where, this is just a regular Sunday night. Look at this. There's like hundreds of people in this room dancing, and everyone dances like fire, right? So anyway, back to Ikigai, right? So I'm sitting here with me and Juan. I think this is the actual lunch we had when after the lunch, I decided to go here. I went to Parque Retiro, and I was in this meadow with these cypress trees, and I was sitting there, and actually it was on the way. I remember today. I was walking to the park, and I realized, because at lunch, Juan was telling me how he wanted to sell to the United States, but he just didn't feel really comfortable, right? I said, well, why not, Juan? He goes, because I don't speak English that well. And I was like, bro, we're actually having this conversation in English. And side note, something about Monterrey is everyone says, oh, I don't speak English. I don't speak English. And then like next thing I know, I'm having like a 15-minute conversation with them in English. And I'm like, you guys always say that you don't know. You guys are always minimizing your talent. Stop minimizing your talent, guys. Stop. You have a gift. It's time to use it. Don't minimize it. So that's one thing. And I get it, because you might not realize how important your gift is because you're not getting the result, and also because you don't really it doesn't feel right when you're doing it, right? So I was leaving the lunch, and I was walking, and I grabbed my computer, and I was going to the park, and that's when it hit me, when I was like, man, I could definitely help Juan. And if there's anyone else like Juan, I could help them. Why? Because I happen to really love my financial career because I loved coaching. And we would do something called best practices, which is I really like, is that we would meet, and I was in a branch in a location with probably like 60 to 90 people that were on the phone, and we'd all be sitting on these desks like a bullpen selling, and we would sell advisory services and influence customers to bring more assets to our firm to self-directed investors. So we were selling self-directed investors advisory services, which if you know anything about finance, that's like, it's crazy because they don't like advisors. They've fired advisors, but we were getting them to hire advisors again by having these really interesting conversations. And that's what we're going to show with you guys and share with you guys. So I realized, I'm like, wow, I really liked that part of my job. I've always loved Spanish and Latin culture and being like languages and traveling. I was always interested in travel growing up. I speak Spanish. I live in Mexico now. I love to go to Spain. So I was like, wow, I'd really love to continue this lifestyle and dance. And I could help people like Juan. And heck, I could really change a lot of people's lives. If they know English and maybe they don't have a good job market where they're at, I could help them access the social media market, the digital market. I could help them access jobs, remote jobs, or in-person jobs in other countries. I could open up their opportunities. And that's what I got really excited about. And I thought also, there's a really good market for this. And if I can get someone a job or help them influence their boss or help them get a promotion, they can make a lot more money. So then I started to think, well, I can make money, and there's a lot of people that probably need this. And that's when I realized, like, I'm going to use my background, the fortunate life that I've had, and my experience and my passions, and I'm going to combine all those to create a program that delivers US sales strategies specifically to non-native English speaking professionals who want a better job, who want to access better markets, and who want to have success on an international level. And that's where I started this. That's why I wrote 15 for Coffee. And that's why we're here, because I believe 100%, and I've seen it happen with all my students, a transformation, a confidence that they didn't have before after going through the program, after learning. And it's not like I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm just really, what I'm doing is I'm taking something that is valuable and I'm taking it and I'm connecting it directly with people that it's going to change your entire experience. If you're going into meetings and interviews and you're not getting the results and you don't feel like yourself, there's reasons why that happens. And we talk about this a lot too. There's reasons why it happens. There's a couple of reasons. One is that we learn social English, right? We learn this kind of English that's created from school and traveling, right? And you're going into these business situations and you're not getting the results that you really want. And so you're like, man, what is going on here? Why not? And it's because you don't learn structure. You don't learn strategy with social English. You don't learn how to go in a room and meet a bunch of people. You just learn how to say stuff. You learn phrases and grammar and vocab and stuff, right? You're not learning an actual strategy. Another reason this happens is because we have natural abilities in our own language. Maybe we can't articulate why we're good at something or how we do it. We're just good at it. We don't need to explain it. We don't need to break it down. But when we do it in another language, we absolutely need to. And another big reason that you struggle and that you see the opportunity, but it doesn't happen, even though you're passionate about it, even though you believe 100% in yourself, it's because no one taught you how. It's that simple. I didn't learn any of this stuff until I worked in finance. Up until then, I had no idea. I was totally flying blind. And that brings me to another opportunity, is that most people, even native speakers, don't know this stuff. Most people don't know a lot of the sales strategies. But what I want to do is share it directly with you. And that's my Ikigai, is to teach this to all you out there who have a vision of a better life, who have a vision of a better job, who have business coming in and you want to capitalize it. Nearshoring, it's going into Mexico and billions of dollars are coming in from outside investments. Exports are increasing to the United States. Mexico is now the USA's largest trading partner. Who's making money there? Before, you didn't have the skills. You were kind of like, okay, I see the opportunity, let me go after it, but I'm not getting results. That is going to change. That is my Ikigai. That's mine. What's yours? How do you find yours? What are you passionate about? What does the world need? What do you love? And how can you get paid? How can you make money? Where's opportunity to make money? And guys, that's Ikigai. I want you to think about that. If you haven't gone to the value proposition or you're working on your value proposition, Ikigai is great for the last and most difficult part of the value proposition, which is, what is your story, right? What's your story? My story is my Ikigai. I grew up loving Spanish and Latin. I had a career in finance. I had exchange students. One day, I was talking to one of them, and I realized I could use my talent and my passions for my job to help people like my buddy Juan and my buddy Pablo. And then that was it. And so it's a great story I can share with people. I can share it at a networking event, but I can share it really small. Oh yeah, I just really like this, and tell it really quick. And people are like, oh, cool. I'm not taking all the attention, right? So Ikigai is really important to focus. It's really important for your value proposition. And when you learn these types of mentalities and you have this under your belt, that's a phrase we like to use, under your belt, when you have a good grasp of it, a good handle, when you can articulate who you are, you can articulate your passions, your story, your why you exist, what you're doing there, you're going to have more influential conversations, you're going to have better results, and you're going to have so much more confidence. So if you're out there, don't give up. Remember, you are part of a rare breed of people who has a vision, who's willing to step outside of your comfort zone for something better. Don't forget that. Keep going. focus on what you're good at. And if you can explain it in a really effective, simple, clear, quick way, you will have success in interviews, meetings, because sometimes you don't have a lot of time. Sometimes all you have is 15 for coffee. Okay, guys, that's our lesson today. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and alert for the next video, because we're going to talk about handling objections. How do you handle objections? We're not memorizing scripts. I'm going to give you the roadmap and the mentality so that no matter what level of English you're at, beginner or advanced, you can use this material in your next meeting to have a better outcome using English. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night.